Fresh off of a comeback victory over the Dodge City A's, the Hayes Larks are back home for their first full series and first out-of-state matchup of the season in a Friday night contest with the Denver Cougars. As we welcome you into the pregame show here at Larks Park, I'm Hank Corsair, and alongside me tonight is Eli Blankenship. And the Larks got back into their winning ways, and they're now above 500 in RMBL play. And actually, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually going to come back to the pregame show in just a sec. We have our presentation with First Responders Night with the EMS helicopter landing at the middle of the field. So, ladies and gentlemen, the helicopter arrived a little bit earlier than we were expecting, but we'll get back to our pregame show coverage. As mentioned, the Larks are back above 500 in the RMBL standings at 2-1 with a win over the Dodge City A's, and it was a win that they had to work for. They trailed 4-1 after 5 innings, but Lorenzo Rios, who entered as a pinch hitter, would get a bunt single, and that's where things kind of took off, as he would get the second run of the game, and the Larks would hold the A's scoreless from that point on, especially with help from relief pitcher Julio Ramos, who got the win and the save. With 4 innings, he went all zeros across the board for hits and runs and had 6 strikeouts on the day. And the Larks get 2 runs in the 8th with a Jackson Babcock home run and Dylan LaRue scoring through an RBI single. And in the end, with extra innings, the Larks leadoff batter in that inning, Jackson Babcock, reaches on an error and gets home to give the Larks a 5-4 win. Very impressive showing as they enter into tonight's game.
Yeah, it certainly was. And for the Larks, this is a great kind of test of strength for the rest of the season. Obviously, they came off that loss with Dodge City. It was a bit of a struggle for them, and not a great, not exactly how they wanted to come out of that ball game, but it certainly was a kind of a turning point for them after tying against the Cannons there this week, and then having that matchup against Dodge City. It kind of allowed them to kind of bounce back and jump right back into things.
And like I just mentioned, we now get our first 3-game series of the season against the Denver Cougars, a team that enters tonight at 2-2 with all their games being against RMBL opponents. They got a big win to start the season against the Colorado Rough Riders by 14 points. Their other 3 games have been against the Liberal BJs, who are going to be a serious contender in the RMBL once again this season. And Denver's going to be looking to improve this season after finishing last in the standings in 2024. And they've shown some improvements, especially in the area of batting.
They certainly have, and they're going to be one that's going to be kind of an interesting to see where they finish out the season this year. Obviously, they didn't have a great season last year in the RMBL, but this year they're showing some promise here early in the season, so should be interesting to kind of see how they perform this season.
And really tonight we're going to get a preview of the rest of the season and RMBL play. As mentioned, Denver, all their games have been against RMBL opponents, so we kind of get a preview of maybe what to expect down the road. Also, this is the first of 7 straight home games for the Larks before going back on the road to play a 3-game series with Liberal later this month. And then it's just going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out.
You're absolutely right. And with it being this early in the season, obviously the Larks still have a lot of players that they're not fully up to strength yet. They're not at full strength. And so while, yes, this will be a good kind of gauge to see what the rest of the season is going to look like, there's still more to come for this Larks team. They have started the season off pretty hot, but I'm expecting big things from this team so far.
The Larks are celebrating First Responders Night tonight, and we are 9 minutes away from first pitch. We'll have the first pitch for you when we come back. The first of a 7-game homestand starts now, as we'll see Dalton Campbell get the start tonight against the leadoff batter for the Cougars, Christian Lopez. Last time we saw Campbell was 6 days ago in the home opener against the Dodge City A's, where he was kind of one of the sole reasons that the Larks got that win.
Yeah, and he has a 2.8 ERA here at the beginning of the season, which is a really respectable number to have. That, you know, it's early on, and especially for the Larks, they need a pitcher who's going to be reliable on that mound, depending on how they're performing offensively.
And a tough play to there, and a tough play to make there is it'll be listed as an E1 with Christian Lopez getting on base. Slow roller or hopper rather down the first base line, and a little bit of miscommunication there for the Larks, gets the runner on.
That's a tough play to make too, especially when that ball kind of comes up short. It was a little bit of a dribbler in a way, where it just kind of comes up a little short there on that first base line, and they kind of had a miscommunication there as to whose ball that was to field and whose job it was to make that play.
Next batter in the order will be the designated hitter from Colorado Mesa, Alden Quintanilla. The first pitch for tonight came at 7:03 p.m. This one's fouled back. Camera shakes a little bit. It's all right, and in fact, I actually got there was part of the netting in the top right corner of the camera. It cleared it out of the way, so that brings the count now to 1-1. This one a hard ground ball that goes right to Campbell. A double play opportunity as he throws it over to Stokes, who gives it over to Babcock, but it's not in time. The Larks do, however, get the lead runner out.
That was a nice play there from Campbell. An excellent kind of reaction there, and a good decision for him to turn around, make the play at second base as opposed to throwing the guy out at one. He recognized he had a runner on, made the play at second, and now you've got one down for the Larks with a runner on. And for Campbell, I mean, that's all you can really ask there. Sometimes for pitchers, that's a really hard play to make. They don't have a whole lot of time to react to that ball, especially as fast as those balls come off the bats of those batters.
There's one away against the Cougars, who have really improved in this last year with their batting, and now they go to the third guy in their order, Finn O'Connor. Native of Denver, Colorado. We'll watch the first one go by for strike one. We'll take a look at the Larks defensive alignment. Brady Kreitzer will be in left field, and center field Lane Sparks returns. A new guy in the lineup in right field is number 25, Paul Smith. Lorenzo Rios will be at third base. Tabor Stokes at shortstop. C.J. Reed back at second base. And Jackson Babcock is at first base, and the catcher tonight is number 26, Dylan LaRue. Count now 1-1. Another hard ground ball, this time fielded by C.J. Reed. Lost control of it. Another hard one to track down, and now they got two runners on for the Cougars.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a blooper there to the second baseman, C.J. Reed, and he really didn't have a whole lot of time to react to that ball, and it just kind of came off the ground really weird. He tried to get his glove under it, just couldn't quite get there, and unfortunately for the Larks, that'll result in two runners on now with just one out.
The booth will mark that as a hit, so that takes us to the right fielder, Will Brassel. He'll foul this one out of play. There's strike one.
And I think that's the right way to mark that, because C.J. Reed really didn't have much of a play on that ball to begin with anyways, especially the way that ball was hit. He just didn't really have an angle to field that ball.
This one will be left outside. Another count starting off 1-1. Will Brassel, the only player on this Cougar team to hit a home run. He's played 2 seasons at Colorado Christian. And he'll foul this one off, moving the count to 1-2.
Took that one like a champ. That came right back and hit him real hard. That's not a fun thing to have. That's certainly going to sting.
Campbell had 8 strikeouts in his first start here at Larks Park. We're looking for the first one of the night right here, but Brassel will stay alive as he fouls this one off.
His timing was off. He was just a little bit late to that pitch. He had the right idea to try to drive that one down the line and wasn't quite timed up on that one.
Pitch on the way from Campbell. High and outside. There's ball 2. Here's the rest of the Cougars lineup after this. Zeke Minnick is on deck, and in the hole, Riley Hall. And then the final 3 batters in the order will be Ethan Jackson, Caden Trujillo, and Braden Gillum. Pitch on the way, half-hearted swing, and Campbell gets him the first strikeout of the day, and 2 away here in the top of the first inning. That'll take us to the catcher, Zeke Minnick. Just played this season in the Summit League with the Omaha Mavericks. This is the 4th game he's played in this season, and this will be his 10th at-bat of the year. Inside, there's ball 1. Quintanilla taking a big lead at second base as the pitch is on the way. Swing and a miss, strike 1.
That was a good-looking pitch there. Found the outside corner, got him to bite on it too, and really brought the heat on that pitch. Good-looking pitch there from Campbell.
And I don't know what Keith Harper talks about with his pitchers, but it feels like they've gotten a lot of batters in that spot, just getting it outside and making them reach at times.
The exact same spot again. Got him on that same pitch. I mean, that was a beauty.
And a swing and a miss. There is back-to-back strikeouts to conclude the first inning, as the Cougars will leave 2 stranded, and the Larks will be up to bat when we come back. there is the batting order tonight for the Hayes Larks. The three of the first four spots will remain the same. We got Dylan LaRue moved up to number 3. Tabor Stokes is back up to the 5 spot. Lorenzo Rios batting 6th, and rounding out Paul Smith, the newest Lark, is in the order. And C.J. Reed batting 8th, and Brady Kreitzer back in the 9-hole spot. As the Larks will face off against the high school senior from Thornton, Colorado, Tyler Swan, making his second start of the season as a 1-0 record on the year. It will start off against Lane Sparks. First pitch will be called ball 1. Even though it's in the first inning, it's always really crucial for the Larks to get a player like Lane Sparks on with his ability to move on the base path and really kind of be the spark to get things started.
Yeah, no pun intended there. Sparks is certainly kind of an energizer bunny for this Larks team. He always puts that extra effort. He always goes above and beyond and is really quick on the base paths.
I would have never caught that pun if you hadn't called it out. It's now a 3-1 count to the center fielder. Went 1 for 4 2 nights ago. They'll foul this one back out of play over the press box, and the count is now full. Take a quick look at the defensive alignment for the Cougars. We'll look at the outfield real fast. In left field is Braden Gillum. In center field is Christian Lopez. And in right field is number 26, Will Brassel. We'll give you the infield in just a second, as it's a swing and a miss there as Sparks strikes out.
And it's almost like Sparks wasn't quite committing fully to that pitch. And he saw the pitch. He kind of liked where it was at location-wise, but decided that he wasn't going to swing on it too late, and he just went all the way through.
That'll bring up Trent Baker, who's back in the designated hitter spot. He was moved to it in Dodge City because he was having some shoulder issues before the game. Didn't check with Frank Leo if he's still having him or if they want to see how this move still works for him. But he's back after getting a single in the game down in Dodge City. Pitch on the way from Swan, swing and a miss there, moving the count to 1-1. The infield for the Cougars looks like this. The third baseman is Ethan Jackson. The shortstop is number 6, Finn O'Connor. The second baseman will be number 13, Caden Trujillo. And the first baseman is number 25, Ryan Hall. Count tied back up at 2-1. The catcher tonight for the Cougars is number 10, Zeke Minnick. Pitch on the way will be left low and outside, ball 3. Swan will deliver, and there is ball 4 to Trent Baker.
I think the key for the Larks tonight is going to be working the pitch count on this guy. From what I can tell so far, Tyler Swan, he's a young kid. He's fresh out of high school, and I don't know that he has a whole lot of command over some of his pitches, and so I think that's really where the Larks can try to expose some of his weaknesses, work the pitch count. You right there with Trent Baker, he was able to reach on balls and didn't swing at a single pitch and got to first base. The Larks, while getting hits looks really pretty, base runners is what counts here in this ball game.
Now moving up from 5th in the order to number 3 is the catcher Dylan LaRue. The count will start off 1-0. He had a really big game down at Cavalier Field, went 2 for 4. That included a solo home run, a triple, and he also had a run and an RBI on his resume as well. This one fouled back out of play. First strike of the at-bat to Dylan LaRue. And with Jackson Babcock on deck, this is where you really want to get a runner in scoring position to possibly get the first lead. Count now 1-2 as LaRue swings and misses.
That was a good pitch to swing at. A good hack there from LaRue. He had the timing down, just didn't quite have the position of the ball down, and that was going to be a strike no matter what, so a good pitch selection there from LaRue.
A line drive headed towards the left fielder Gillum, and he will make the grab as Baker heads back to first base. There's 2 away.
That was some good contact there from LaRue. He just got a little bit unlucky and hit it straight to the left fielder. If he would have hit that just, a hair softer, that would have dropped right in for a base hit.
We now go to the man that leads the Larks in 8 different batting categories. It is Jackson Babcock, back at first base tonight. 545 average for him on the year and 22 at-bats. Waiting for the first pitch of the at-bat after the throwback to first base where Baker is at. And we got a stolen base attempt here for the Larks as Baker heads down to second. He is there in time.
And quite honestly, Baker actually kind of lucked out there. I didn't think he was going to make it there on time. He didn't get a big enough of a jump on him, but their shortstop, that was number 6, O'Connor, didn't quite get there in time. He wasn't quite watching. The runner didn't recognize that Baker went ahead and ran, and so O'Connor didn't really get there in time to put that tag on Baker. And so Baker's going to get a free bag, and now he's in scoring position with Babcock up to bat. We'll see if Babcock can drive him in.
And Babcock had 2 singles down at Cavalier Field on Wednesday night. A well-hit ball should bring Trent Baker home as the count now goes to 2-0. Swan takes a look back at second base. This one a line drive, and it will go foul for the first strike of the at-bat to Jackson Babcock.
He just kind of bent its way out of the playing field and couldn't quite stay left of that first base line. It just kind of curled right out of play, and it was the right idea. Now Babcock, if he can just straighten that ball out, that'll be a run scored any day of the week.
Pitch on the way from Swan. Popped up high into the air. It'll be called for by the shortstop, O'Connor, but it'll be the left fielder that will come in and make the catch. Gillum gets out number 3. Trent Baker walks and steals second, but the Larks have 3 outs in that inning, and we'll go to the top of the second with batters 6, 7, and 8 up next for the Denver Cougars. We welcome you back to Larks Park in the first of a 3-game series as the Larks celebrating First Responders Night, looking for a series opening win against the Denver Cougars as Dalton Campbell back to the mound will face off against Riley Hall.
Well, and Campbell had a pretty nice first inning. He had 2 strikeouts there in that first inning of play. There was 2 really kind of fluke plays that got batters on bases, and
a routine play there for Lorenzo Rios. He throws it down to Babcock, and there's out number 1.
For Campbell, he really did have a great first inning, though, and that was a kind of a confidence booster for him. We'll see if he can kind of keep up that momentum going into this second inning.
That'll take us to the third baseman for the Cougars, Ethan Jackson. One of a few players residing for Monterey Peninsula College. Count will start off 0-1. Swing and a miss. There's the count at 0-2 for Jackson, his 10th at-bat of the season. He's recorded a hit, a run, and 3 walks through his first 3 games of the season. And now down in the count 0-2 against Campbell.
This is where Campbell can really work the count. He has a lot of pitches in his arsenal now to be able to really move the ball around wherever he wants. When he has an 0-2 count, he can start throwing slop here and there and try and get him to chase.
The final 2 outs of the first inning were strikeouts, and that one will be the first ball of the at-bat. Campbell still trying to position it in that same spot, and this time the Cougars don't take the bait. There's ball 2. This one fouled back, and that'll keep the count at 2-2.
Campbell still has a little bit of leeway here. You saw right there he went for the strike that time.
LaRue tried to frame it, but that'll make the count full.
Now with it being a payoff pitch here, Campbell is in kind of that do-or-die mode.
And Jackson able to fight back as he will head down to first base.
And props to Jackson there. I mean, that was a valiant effort there from him to battle back from being down 0-2 and then secure the walk. I mean, that is not an easy thing to do at any level of baseball.
He was the first of the final 3 in the order for the Cougars, and that takes us to number 13, Caden Trujillo from Cerro Coso Community College. And another player for the Cougars that's a native of Denver, Colorado. Count is 0-1 with 1 away. Campbell took a look back at first base. There is ball 1 to Trujillo. The runner at first base is Jackson. This one will go wide, and that'll tie the count up at 2-1.
Well, Campbell kind of has some advantage over some of those base runners, especially with a runner on first. He keeps him on first just with him being a lefty. He has an easy view for him, doesn't have to look back every time.
Pitch on the way, just misses the zone. There is ball 3.
He was trying to find that spot that he hit a couple times there in that first inning, just couldn't quite find that outside edge, and now he's going to have to battle back here in this count.
Campbell kicks and deals, swing and a miss, and there is his 3rd strikeout of the game, and there is 2 away in the top of the 2nd.
3 Ks to start the ball game for Campbell, and, well.
My apologies, I miscounted there. That was a full count, and now Trujillo will walk down to first base.
Well, now back-to-back walks here for Campbell. He's really got to get something going here, try to find his rhythm again. You know, that last inning he had a couple base runners on the base paths. Maybe that's a comfort zone for him. I don't know, but with only 1 out, he needs to really try and secure another out. That way they avoid letting up any runs here in this 2nd inning.
There was 1 out in the first inning when he had those 2 runners on, and he concluded that inning with 2 strikeouts. And the count starting off 0-1 to the final batter in the order for the Cougars, Braden Gillum. Leads the team in on-base percentage at .750. He's only played in 2 other games this season. He swings and misses. He's down now 0-2. Big lead taken at second base. Pitch on the way will be fouled into the Cougars dugout. Count will stay at 0-2.
Campbell in full control of this count now. He really has to be mindful of the runners on, though.
This one goes low and inside. Ball one to the left fielder, Braden Gillum. Looking for a big season with the Cougars, and did not play this last year for Porterville College. This one will go inside, and now on a pass ball, the Cougars were trying to advance. The runner at first got halfway down. He'll slide back, and he is out. What a play made by the Larks. Dylan LaRue throws it to Jackson Babcock, and now there's two away with the runner at first out. That's Caden Trujillo.
And there was just miscommunication there from the runner on second and then additionally there on first. And the runner on second went about halfway to third base, decided he wasn't going to go, came back, and then a nice throw from LaRue leads to that out there over to Jackson Babcock.
It was because of that the lead runner. He wasn't sure, Trujillo wasn't sure if he was going to go to third base. And by the time LaRue had the ball, he was too far down. And there is three away with a swinging strikeout. That's three on the night for Dalton Campbell. And the Larks keep the score at 0-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. Special thank you to our Lark sponsors you saw there on the screen, and also thank you to today's game day sponsors celebrating First Responders Night: Equity Bank, Hayes Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 48, Hayes Firefighters Local 2119, and the Hayes Rotary Club. As we start the bottom of the second, and it's hit by Tabor Stokes, and this one will drop in front of the right fielder. A leadoff single for the Hayes Larks on the first pitch of the inning.
Well, that is the way to start off an inning right there, if I've ever seen one. A nice little base hit there to start off the inning. No outs on the board, and now it's time for Stokes to get a little aggressive here on the base paths.
Stokes had 2 stolen bases down in Dodge City. We'll see if he tries to advance here. But that brings up number 21, Lorenzo Rios. You could say he was the guy that kind of got the comeback started down in Dodge City. Just a bunt single would be the first run of the comeback for the Larks. After the 5th inning, Dodge didn't score anymore. And from that point on, Rios was the first run in the 6th inning. The count now 2-0 to the third baseman in place of Thomas Lissy tonight once again. Pitch on the way from Swan. A little bit high. There's ball 3. This one will find the zone inside. First strike of the at-bat to Lorenzo Rios. This one hit hard into the air, into left field. Gillum will run after this, and he will make the grab for out number 1. Good swing there by Rios, just Gillum was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, he put some juice on that ball and just couldn't quite get enough on it to send it yard. But, man, a good-looking swing there, and especially with the wind coming towards him on that hit, on that swing. I mean, there's not a lot more you can ask for if you're Coach Leo. That's a good-looking swing, just didn't quite go the way he wanted it to.
We'll now see the 7th batter in the order come up to the plate, the newest member of the Hayes Larks, the junior from Flower Mound, Texas, and Rice Owl, Paul Smith. He's played all 3 years of college at the Division I level with the Owls. The Larks just brought him in. We found out that he was joining the team on the night after the Kansas Cannons game. He will start with the count 1-0. Added for some catching depth after the injury of Ray Jesse, which we do have an update on. His surgery was yesterday at Hayes Med. It was successful, and I'm told he's going to fly back home tomorrow. So we wish him the best and in whatever he does down the road with baseball.
Well, and hopefully a speedy recovery for him as well.
Count 2-0 to Paul Smith. I would imagine this for the remainder of the season, Smith's going to play a similar role to Dylan LaRue. Both are listed as a catcher and first baseman, so the Larks can kind of put them in any position. And the count now 2-1 to Smith. And as he's listed on the Larks roster as a catcher and first baseman, he's actually playing in right field tonight, kind of like Dylan LaRue, who started the season at left fielder and is at catcher tonight. Swan delivers. This one will get away from the catcher, and no problem for Stokes to get down to second base. He might head to third. He's halfway down the line, but will just jog back. He'll reach second on a pass ball, and the count is now 3-1 to Paul Smith.
That's probably the right call there to keep him on second base, especially with only one out. You got a runner in scoring position. You got a chance to drive him home here on a base hit.
Pitch on the way to Smith. Will go outside in his first plate appearance as a Hayes Lark. He will walk down to first base.
And there it is again, just working that pitch count, really working those at-bats. There's no need to swing at it if it's not there. If you're a Larks player, especially in today's game, just work the count. You got to work the count from the very first pitch to the very last one. And you obviously swing at it if it's there, but for the Larks, I mean, there's no need to give him anything more than what he's given you.
That'll bring up C.J. Reed, was the right fielder in last night's game, or in Wednesday night's game. Was originally supposed to start at designated hitter before the pregame changes were made, and he's back at second base tonight. There was a mound meeting there between Minnick and Swan, with just one out and Larks runners at second and first. Swan is the team leader in strikeouts for the Cougars. This one will be grounded over to the second baseman Trujillo, and it'll be a fielder's choice as Reed will make it to first. And now they're going to get a throw to the catcher, and we got a pickle here on third base as Stokes will slide back to third base, and they're going to say that he's safe. The Cougars infielders can't believe it. They thought that they got him in time, and now their head coach is going to head out to the field for an appeal or discussion with the umpire.
That one was really close. I don't know. That's a tough one to call, and he also kind of got around the infielder that was kind of standing in the base path, and so I think he was out of the baseline, and they might end up overturning this call.
Field umpire will have a discussion with the head coach of the Cougars. That is Mark Carullo. And it looks like there will only be 2 outs on the scoreboard for the Larks with runners at third and first. So now we go to the final batter in the order for the Larks, number 4, Brady Kreitzer. Was walked twice at Dodge City and reached on an error. Had a big showing in his first game here at Larks Park against the Cannons, which included a solo home run and him getting 2 hits on the day, or getting on base twice, excuse me.
Yeah, he had some good knocks in that game. Had a great home run. I mean, just absolutely obliterated that ball. We'll see if he can't go yard again here today.
This one will be a foul ball, moving the count to 1-1. Kreitzer just finished his senior season with the Fort Hays State Tigers. Has been involved with Hays baseball his entire life. Played 3 years at TMP Marion. They'll sky this one into right field, and a tough play to make. They won't make it, and runners will advance for the Larks. A double for Brady Kreitzer.
How about that for a little base hit there for Brady Kreitzer? Gets a double, an RBI double off of what was just kind of a blooper into really shallow right center field. And there was just not necessarily even miscommunication. It was just right in the spot where nobody was at. And stop Trujillo for the Cougars really tried to track that ball down. I mean, he was hauling. His hat flew off and everything, and he just couldn't quite get there in time. And now the Larks will go up by 1 run.
The fielders for both teams are really being challenged tonight. Count is 1-1 to start for Lane Sparks. Working with 2 runners in scoring position. The runner at third is C.J. Reed. At second is Kreitzer off of that RBI double. This one will be left outside. Count is now 3-1. Catcher Minnick showing that he wants it low. This one will be left high, and there is ball 4. The 9th time Lane Sparks has been walked this season, and the Larks have the bases loaded, and coming up to the plate is Trent Baker.
Yeah, that's not who you want to see with the bases loaded and top of the lineup now for the Larks. Things are looking a little dangerous now for Tyler Swan. We'll see if he can get something going here with 2 outs. Obviously, he's in control. You got to force out at really any base now, but still not comfortable territory for the Cougars by any means.
And as expected, they will have a mound meeting with the bases loaded and 2 away. Trying to leave the damage at 1 run in the bottom of the second.
Don't forget, Larks fans, phase 2 has restocked the apparel stand with the adult size 2024 NBC World Series.
And Cougars coach Mark Carullo will make his way back to the dugout. Tyler Swan just finished his senior year at Riverdale Ridge High School. Looking for a big season here with the Denver Cougars before making his way to Scottsdale Community College, a team that has one of the most random mascots that I've ever seen. Do you know what it is?
I don't.
The Fighting Artichokes.
Huh. Artichokes. Interesting. I haven't heard that one before.
This one hit high and foul.
I can't even say I've heard of a food mascot in general. That one is
And that one, I think, was caught by someone in the parking lot at Doom.
Larks faithful certainly loved that one.
We wouldn't have known about it if it wasn't for the crowd reaction.
We need we need a parking lot of doom camera or something that cuts away over there, and we can see how many cars get hit or how many people catch balls in the parking lot of doom or something.
I'll pitch the idea to Brandon. This one, a line drive headed towards Lopez. He'll make a diving play, and I think he made the catch. There is out number 3.
Wow, what a play. I mean, you can't even be mad at that. If you're a Lark, I mean, there's absolutely nothing you can do about that if you're Baker. He hit the ball well, got it into center field, right where he wanted it to. Would have scored 2 runs, but a diving play from Lopez saves 2 more runs for the Cougars.
The Larks do score a run that inning with Tabor Stokes, and they'll have the lead going into the top of the 3rd. The Denver Cougars will go back to the top of their order as we start the top of the third inning with the first guy to get on base in this game, Christian Lopez, up in the count 1-0. This one a hard grounder over to C.J. Reed. He will field it cleanly, throw it over to Babcock, and there is out number one to start the top of the third inning. Lopez now 0 for 1 on the day. He reached on an error in the first inning, and that will take us to Alden Quintanilla, the designated hitter. Player that's currently in the transfer portal, played this last season at Colorado Mesa. This one finds the zone for strike one. He's also played at 2 different JUCOs, including Chico State and Los Angeles Valley College. He's now down in the count 0-2. This one will be fouled off, and that hit him in the hand. He'll step away for a moment.
Man, that looked like that really hurt. I don't even know if it hit him in the hand or not. It was hard to tell. It might have even hit him in the chest based on where that ball kind of came in at, and that's a tough one to take.
The home plate umpire will give him some time as he's stepping back into the left side of the batter's box. Trying to reach base for the second time in tonight's game, and now there's going to be a discussion with the umpires. I wonder if they're possibly going to say that he's out. If
that's true, he didn't. I don't think he actually. I don't know if he made contact with the ball, and that's hard to determine. Obviously, now that the play's done, but fortunately, no instant replay in this level of baseball, so no booth review for that one.
So they will call it a foul ball. If it had just hit his hand and he swung, it would have been a strikeout. Instead, one pitch later, there is the strikeout. There is 2 away.
And K, number 4 on the day for Dalton Campbell. What an outing he's had so far. Only in the third inning, already with 4 strikeouts, and man, he's looking real good out there on the mound.
That's 13 for him now on the year. And he's looking for a 3-up, 3-down inning as they'll go to Finn O'Connor for the Denver Cougars. First pitch will be left up high for ball 1. Line drive into right field. Smith will run after this one. He'll make a leap for it, and it'll bounce off the wall. O'Connor will make his way to second base, and he's got a double with 2 outs in the top of the third.
Well, that's a hard ball to read, especially with it coming off the bat as fast as it did, and just slipped over Smith's head there out in right field and couldn't quite get a hand on it. And with 2 outs, it's really kind of no harm, no foul as long as you hold them here to no runs.
This is different than the first 2 innings. They were able to get some runners on for the Cougars in the first 2 innings. Now they're working with 2 outs instead of 1 like in the prior ones. And the count is 1-0 to Will Brassel.
Yeah, certainly a little bit less pressure on Campbell here with 2 outs and only a runner on.
Left outside, moving the count to 2-0. Swing and a miss, ties the count up. Brassel put a lot of power on that one. He is the only player for the Cougars to have a home run this early in the season. Also has a .643 slugging percentage entering tonight's game. And this one will go right to C.J. Reed, and there is out number 3. The inning started with 2 outs for the Cougars. They get a double from Finn O'Connor, but that line drive out will conclude the top of the 3rd inning. It'll be Dylan LaRue, Jackson Babcock, and Tabor Stokes up next for the Larks when we come back. Tyler Swan will go back to the mound for the bottom of the 3rd inning, starting off against the catcher for the Larks, Dylan LaRue. The inning will start off 1-0 in the count. On deck is Jackson Babcock, Tabor Stokes in the hole. Third inning of work for Tyler Swan. They got nobody warming up in the bullpen right now for the Cougars. Count is now 3-0. They're probably going to save as many pitchers as possible with the work that he's doing so far, only allowing 2 hits and 1 run, and also having a strikeout recorded in this game.
Well, and a lot of the bullpens here at this level of baseball don't run super deep. We saw that against the Cannons when the Larks had to essentially just end the game in a draw because they ran out of pitchers. So I'm sure that the Cougars are not in any better of a situation in terms of how many pitchers they've got in their bullpen. I'm sure it doesn't run super deep.
And credit to their coach. He gave us the list of their rotation tonight in the bullpen, as we got a strikeout swinging there for Dylan LaRue. The guy that's likely to come in next would be another high school senior from Littleton, Colorado, Tommy Bell. So they're going to try to keep Swan in for as long as possible.
Well, it's really cool to get to see some of those young players that are kind of up and coming, might be up next, and getting ready to play at a college level, getting to see that kind of pre-college development, and then next season you'll get to see them more than likely back with the Cougars or whoever, and get to see them potentially grow and develop.
This one will be a fly out to Lopez in center field. 2 away here in the bottom of the 3rd. And that's something that I wanted to point out. There are 6 players on this Cougars team that just graduated high school, and also 19 of their 26 players reside from the state of Colorado. So being from the metro area, they can kind of rely on those young guys who also have a lot of experience playing higher level competition, whether it's high school or travel team, whatever it might be. They got some talent in that area.
It's for sure. They certainly have a large pool of players to choose from in Denver.
Tabor Stokes now to bat the first run of the game for the Larks. On the first pitch of the 2nd inning, he singled and would later get home in that inning. And this one looking like it's going to drop over the head of Trujillo, and it does. Back-to-back singles for Tabor Stokes.
Little blooper finds a shallow right field grass, and no shame in that. A base hit's a base hit. You'll take that any day of the week.
We now go to Lorenzo Rios back at 3rd base again tonight. He made the first start in that position in in the second game down at Cavalier Field in Dodge City. This one will bounce foul, and the count will start off 0-1.
Well, and Stokes took off like he was going to steal second there on that, but I think he really more or less just kind of took off on contact. I didn't actually catch to see if he got a jump there or not, but that'll be something to watch here as this at-bat continues.
Stokes continuing to show out for the Larks that after that last single, he now has 4 multi-hit games. Left outside, there's the first ball to Rios.
That's pretty impressive considering the Larks have only played 6 total games this season. I mean, he is having a multi-hit game more often than he isn't. I mean, that is very impressive for Stokes.
This one hit high in the air to left field. Gillum will run after this. He'll stop as this one actually stayed in fair territory, or excuse me, in the field of play. It landed in foul territory, just didn't leave the yard.
Yeah, it was the top of the fence that kind of just ricocheted down into the dirt over there right next to the bullpen that kind of kept the ball in play there for just a moment.
Doesn't look like the wind had anything to do with it. It's blowing from left field to the infield as we get a ground ball there from Rios. A diving play tried to be made there by Hall, and it's going to be a double for Rios. Or actually, he's going to stop there after rounding first base.
That's a good call to stay there on first base, especially with the runner in scoring position now. You do not want to afford a unnecessary out. You've got a runner in scoring position on third base. All you need is a base hit, and he scores.
Quick burst by Stokes gets him to third base, and that brings up the right fielder from Rice, Paul Smith.
That was a good-looking hit there from Rios. I mean, just split the gap right there between the second baseman and the first baseman, and, man, that ball came off his bat like a rocket. That thing was smoked into the outfield grass.
This one will be fouled on the first base line. 0-1 to the right fielder. As we mentioned, Smith has played all 3 years of college baseball in the American with the Rice Owls.
Certainly no stranger to the game of baseball. It's a good veteran pickup for this Larks team.
Swing and a miss, moving the count to 0-2. It's also a very key pickup when you look at he plays catcher for the Owls. Another player for the Larks that plays catcher for the Owls is Lorenzo Rios. You got that team chemistry there this early in the season.
Without a doubt, and that's something that's kind of hard to develop on a team like this. It doesn't play year-round. You know, they only play in the summer, and they only play together for a very short amount of time, and so building that team chemistry, especially early in the year, is very crucial.
The Larks do return a lot of players this year, and it's also a pretty good number of players that have that experience with each other. You got Julio Ramos and Trent Baker both played at Lamar this last year. C.J. Reed and Tabor Stokes have been together through all 2 years of college. They started at Butler Community College and then transferred to Hutchinson this last year.
Well, and that's half the battle at this level is getting your players to be able to meld and kind of just play as one unit, especially with your infielders who are constantly making throws back and forth to each other. I mean that's such a crucial point for a league like this, and I think that has really led to a lot of the Larks' success here early on.
2-2 on the way from Swan, goes outside, and the count is now full. Smith was walked on a 3-1 count in the second inning. We'll see if he can get down to first again, and that would once again load the bases for the Larks. Left up high and outside. 2 straight walks there for Paul Smith. And like I just noted, the bases are now loaded once again. We'll see if this time the Larks can get some of those guys home.
All they need is a base hit here. That's all they need. They just got to keep the line moving.
That'll bring up the second baseman, C.J. Reed. Take a swing on this one. It's going to stay fair. The first baseman couldn't quite reach for it. 1 run is in. Rios is heading home. He's in, and now rounding third is Paul Smith, and he's going to stop halfway there. And he's got to get back to third, and now he's going to be in a pickle. The Larks do score 2 runs. We'll see if Smith can get to third safely. Pump fake, and now what is happening? Someone just tripped over at third base, and although it's an RBI, there is 3 outs.
I mean, talk about chaos there. The guy that was on second actually went all the way to third and was standing on third base, so he had nowhere to go. I mean, that was just pure chaos. They'll take the runs, though. They'll take the runs.
So the Larks score 2 runs in that inning from C.J. Reed in the final at-bat of the inning. Dalton Campbell will go back to the mound for the top of the 4th when we come back. Welcome back to Larks Park as we start the top of the 4th inning with the Larks in front of the Cougars 3-0. And for the next 3 innings, I'm going to throw the play-by-play duties over to Eli Blankenship. Eli, take it away.
Well, maybe if I get set to cooperate with me. Thanks, Hank. All right, well, up to bat leading off for the Cougars will be Zeke Minnick, the catcher. That first pitch is in there for strike 1. The 0-1 comes off Minnick's foot. He will take a base. That'll be a walk for him. And now with a runner on first, it will be Riley Hall, the first baseman, up to the plate.
And you wonder if Campbell was trying to mix it up a little there. He's gone to the outside a bunch of times, tried going inside and just couldn't quite position it as he hits Minnick, and he's now at first base.
Yeah, the outside is really where he's liked a lot of those pitches, and so I would assume that was kind of his strategy there, trying to change it up a little bit, and just didn't work out for him. That first pitch of the at-bat goes in there for ball 1. Count is 1-0 on Riley Hall. Now the pitch. That pitch comes in low. Count is 2-0 with a runner on first and no outs.
Campbell's watching Minnick at first base, but it's not really something the Larks have to worry about too much. The Cougars have only had 4 stolen base attempts this season, and they've been caught once already this season.
Well, it's a hitter's count now for Riley Hall as the at-bat starts off at 3-0. Now the pitch. That one swung on to third baseman Rios, who didn't get the ball out of his hand quite quick enough, and it almost looked like he kind of missed through it. And nonetheless, the runner at second base is called out. That's going to be an interesting conversation there from the infield umpire, because it looked like that ball kind of just popped straight out of his glove.
And it never looked like Reed had full control of the ball, so I'll say I'm honestly a little bit surprised that they called that an out.
Yes, so am I, and primarily just because the ball went straight into the dirt initially on the throw, and I don't exactly know what happened there for Rios. I'm almost just thinking he couldn't quite get the ball out of his hand. And I would agree. I didn't think Reed had control of the ball long enough for that to be an out. So as it stands right now, there'll be a runner on first in first baseman Riley Hall. And then up to the plate for the Cougars will be number 21, Ethan Jackson, the third baseman. But I don't exactly know what's the holdup here. Yeah. And it looks like the third base coach for the Cougars actually got thrown out. So they're going to have to do a little bit of a coaching change here on the third base. And I honestly, I don't know exactly what was said, nor did I really see what happened, but I don't know that I'd be very happy either if I was the head coach of the Cougars right at the moment. So fresh batter now for Campbell and Ethan Jackson. That first pitch, that first pitch of the at bat in there for strike one.
And another half-hearted swing there for the Cougars, and Campbell just positioning it all over the plate.
That pitch hit into deep right field. Smith is tracking back, and he is there to make the catch. So 2 down now for the Larks, and a runner on first still for the Cougars.
A well-hit ball just went right back to the right field pole. And Smith able to track it down.
So now it'll be Caden Trujillo up to the plate for the Cougars, the second baseman. That first pitch swung on and missed. Nice pitch location there from Campbell. Now the 0-1 pitch. Bit of a check swing, didn't quite commit to it. Nonetheless, it was still in the zone. Count moves to 0-2. Now the 0-2 count. That one fouled away, way out of play into the parking lot of doom, and Jackson will live to fight another pitch.
Looking for a better appearance this time around. He was walked on the full count in the second inning and got picked off on a ball that rolled away from LaRue.
Jackson got jammed up there on that pitch. That will be fouled away as well. Campbell tried to go inside on him, and Jackson waited too long to take that swing and kind of just came off his bat. Now the pitch, that one way outside for ball one. Now the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. Strikeout number 5 on the day for Dalton Campbell. And with that, we go to the bottom of the third with the Larks up to bat. We welcome you back to Larks Park. I'm Eli Blankenship, joined alongside me, Hank Cosair. In that last inning, the Larks held the Cougars to no runs. And leading off for the Larks will be number 4, Brady Kreitzer, the left fielder and Fort Hays State Tiger. 1-1 count will move to 2-1 after that pitch. That one low and away. Kreitzer had a pretty nice outing here at home in his debut for the Larks. Had a home run and a couple hits.
And you got to wonder what this whole experience means to him. I mean, he just finished his senior season at Fort Hays State. He gets more games at Larks Park, and he's had great showings with the Larks, even though he's here as a temporary player.
He's certainly no stranger to Larks Park, as Fort Hays State plays all their games here at Larks Park, so this is really just like home for Kreitzer. And that pitch looks like they'll say that Kreitzer took a hack at it, so now a full count for Brady Kreitzer. Now the payoff pitch. That one swung on and straight into the gap. Splitting Jackson and O'Connor, Kreitzer will get a single. A leadoff single for Kreitzer brings up the top of the line for the Larks. We've got Lane Sparks, the center fielder, up to bat now.
He was walked in his most recent appearance. Now that he's got a runner at first base, it'll be interesting to see how he approaches this one.
Well, and so far the Larks have done a pretty good job at working the count against Tyler Swan. He's a young kid, a young player that doesn't have a whole lot of command yet over some of his pitches, and so for the Larks, they've really tried to work that count so far. That first pitch in there for strike one on Sparks.
And now that the Larks are kind of starting to build a lead, they do have somebody warming up in the bullpen for the Cougars. Looks to be the sophomore from Williston State, Austin Bolin.
That pitch hit foul, way out of play, down the third baseline. So now an 0-2 count for Lane Sparks, and now he's going to have to battle back if he wants any opportunity of getting on base. The 0-2 pitch hit into shallow left field. Gillum is there and makes the play. One down for the Larks. Now up next will be the designated hitter, number 2, Trent Baker. A player that you mentioned said was having kind of some shoulder issues, so has been batting in that DH spot for the Larks.
And he does a good job at reading the plate. He's already walked once tonight, and even though he's having those issues, he still has the ability to put power in the ball.
Well, a double play. Man, that is unlucky there for Baker. He hit it just straight at Swan. Swan made a nice little snag, throws it back to second and then over to first base, and that will conclude the inning. It is one hit on 3 outs for the Larks. To the top of the 5th we go. Top of the 5th inning here at Larks Park, and you know what that means. It's trivia time. I'm going to throw it over to Hank here at the start of this inning to give you guys your trivia question.
Since this is the first Colorado opponent for the Larks this season, the question we want to know is, of the 16 games that the Larks played against RMBL teams from Colorado last season, how many did they win? I won't say the exact number, but I will say it was a lot. We'll reveal the answer in the bottom half of the next inning.
Well, leading off for the Cougars will be number 17. That's Braden Gillum, the bottom of the lineup for the Cougars. The left fielder starts the count 1-1. Campbell's still out on the mound. He's got 5 strikeouts on the day. That one lined straight to first baseman Jackson Babcock, who makes the play, and one down to start the top of the 5th inning for the Larks.
As a young player for Babcock, he just moves around the field so well, right there to make the play, and another leadoff out.
And ducking is Christian Lopez, the leadoff batter the one-hole hitter for the Cougars. On a bit of a wild pitch that kind of got out of the hands of Campbell. Now the 1-0 pitch. That one a little low. Count will move to 2-0. That pitch outside for ball 3.
Lopez has been the top batter this season for the Cougars. It makes you wonder, knowing that they would have to jump out to an early lead against a team like the Larks, that they put him in that one-hole spot instead of 3 or 4.
That pitch will find the inside edge for strike number 1. Count is 3-1. That pitch fouled away, and now a full count for Lopez. Campbell's really battled back here in this at-bat. Now the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. That's strikeout number 6 on the day for Dalton Campbell. All 6 of those strikeouts have been swinging strikeouts. Campbell has been throwing what the Cougars like to see, and the Cougars just can't quite get a bat on it. So far, no runs across 4 2/3 innings for Campbell. That first pitch in there for strike 1 on Alvin Quintanilla.
I don't know if it's just a Larks Park thing, but it feels like here at Larks Park, the starting pitchers set the tone for the entire game. I have it listed, even though that the starting pitchers for the Larks have 20.2 of the team's 53 innings, they account for 28 of the 67 strikeouts coming into tonight's game.
1-2 count here for Quintanilla. Swing and a miss. That's strikeout number 7. All of them forwards Ks. A 1-2-3 inning for Dalton Campbell, and we go to the bottom of the 5th for the Larks. We welcome you back to Larks Park here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Leading off for the Larks is number 26, Dylan LaRue, the catcher for the Larks. That one is hit foul off of his ankle. And we're going to show that trivia question one more time. We're going to reveal the answer in the top of the 6th inning. Hank, I'll let you take it away.
So the question is, of the 16 games that the Larks played against RMBL teams from Colorado last season, how many did they win? The Larks, I will say that the Larks were very successful against the Cougars last year. Went 4-0 against them, outscored them 43-8, and now up 3-0 in tonight's game.
Well, LaRue will start this count 0-2. So going to have to battle back here on a pitcher's count for Tyler Swan. Swing and a miss, and that's strikeout number 2 on the day for Swan. Someone who has found a lot of success in forcing batters to ground out, at least in this game so far.
And he's a young player, like we've noted, but he's been holding up pretty well. Other than the second and third inning, been doing very well for the Cougars. And then again, not sure how much time he has left. We noted that Austin Bolin is warming up right now for the Cougars in the bullpen.
So that'll bring up the 4-hole hitter, Jackson Babcock. He'll start off the count 1-0, and he'll swing that one into right field. It will drop foul. Just a hair to the right of the first base foul line. And, man, that was a well-hit ball. That came off the bat with quite a bit of steam on it. Count will be 1-1 for Dylan LaRue. Now the pitch. That pitch a little bit outside for ball 2. Count is 2-1. That pitch low and away for ball number 3. And now a 3-1 count for Dylan LaRue means he has the green light. That pitch outside, and LaRue will take his base. Runner on first and 1 out for the Larks. And that will bring up Tabor Stokes, the shortstop for the Larks.
And Babcock showing off his plate vision once again. That last game against Dodge City was the first game where he wasn't walked. And now that he's on for the first time tonight.
And as I mentioned, the way that they can beat Tyler Swan tonight will be working the count, and they've done that so far, and they've done a really nice job at that. They've really forced Swan to pitch to him, and just like that, Stokes will hit one into left field for a base hit. So now runners on first and second for the Larks with only 1 out, and that'll bring up number 21, Lorenzo Rios, the third baseman for the Larks.
And Stokes making good contact in this game. 3 singles on the night. I don't know about you. I think he might have earned himself a post-game interview if the Larks win.
I'd say so. 3 singles on the night. I mean, that's a 3-hit game. I mean, you can't ask for anything more if you are Coach Leo. And now it looks like Tyler Swan's day might be coming to a close after that base hit. Well, now on the mound for the Cougars will be number 16, Austin Bolin, and he'll be pitching relief for Tyler Swan, who exits the game with 2 strikeouts on 3 runs. And it is number 21, Lorenzo Rios, the third baseman, up to the plate for the Larks. Bolin has not played in any games for the Cougars, so this is the first time this season he has made an appearance as a pitcher for the Cougars, and his first pitch as a Cougar this season is a strike, and his second looks like is a ball, so a 1-1 count here for Lorenzo Rios.
And Bolin's a very unpredictable player. He played 7 games in his first season with Williston State and did not play this last season, so we'll see if that impacts him at all.
That pitch outside for ball 2. Count now 2-1 on Rios. Now the pitch. That pitch finds the inside corner for strike number 2. Now a 2-2 count on Rios. Now the pitch. That one hit hard down the first base line. It slips past by Hall. 1 run will score for the Larks and extra bases for Rios, who hits a 1 RBI double.
Great positioning down that first base line. Another RBI for the Larks.
And that is certainly not the first time tonight that the Larks have slipped one past Hall. Hall has had a rough night going down that first base line. I mean, that is at least the second or third time the Larks have found that line and just kissed the ball off that foul line. And now the Larks take a 4-0 lead, and Austin Bolin lets up a hit in his first at-bat as a Cougar. So now up to the plate for the Larks will be number 25, the right fielder, Paul Smith. He was one that we mentioned is his first appearance tonight as a Lark. 1-0 pitch on him is down and away for ball number 2.
We've seen him walk twice tonight. I really want to see how he makes contact with the ball. He was listed out of high school as the Houston Chronicle Private School Hitter of the Year in his senior year of high school.
Well, so far he hasn't seen anything he likes, and another one right there. That makes it for ball number 3. So now a 3-0 count on Smith, and it's going to have to be there if he's even going to look at it. Now the pitch. That one on the inside corner in there for strike number 1. Now a 3-1 count on Paul Smith. Now the pitch. That outside for ball number 4, and that is walk number 3 on the day for Paul Smith, someone who has done a nice job of really working the count tonight at the plate.
And that is bases loaded for the 3rd time in tonight's game.
And you're absolutely right. And with the bases loaded now, C.J. Reed, the second baseman for the Larks, up to the plate, trying to make something happen here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And Reed was the one that was up to bat the last time we had the bases loaded, and he had that RBI single where chaos ensued at the end of that play.
Chaos indeed. And that first pitch in there for strike 1. Now the 0-1 pitch on Reed. That pitch high for ball 1. Now the pitch. That pitch a little outside, and Reed now ahead in the count, 2-1. Now a mound meeting for Austin Bolin, who is kind of struggling here. He's got bases loaded and a little bit of a pickle for him with only one out. The Larks just need a deep ball to score at least one, if not two runs here to extend their lead. They're already up 4-0, and the Cougars, if they want any chance of coming back into this ball game, they have got to play as defensive as possible in terms of letting up runs. They cannot really afford to give up any more runs here at this stage of the game. Now a 2-1 count on Reed. That pitch outside for ball 3. Count moves to 3-1. A walk would score a run, and it looks like he will do just that. Reed didn't quite like that pitch, and rightfully so, as he will take a base on balls and one will score for the Larks. Now the Larks will go up 5-0 with the bottom of the lineup, Brady Kreitzer, the left fielder, and Fort Hays State Tiger up to the plate. See if Kreitzer can't make something happen here with the bases loaded. That first pitch in there for ball 1. And in that debut game for him against the Cannons, he hit an absolute bomb out into left field and had a solo shot. Kreitzer, a staple player for this City of Hays, player that really came up big for the Tigers this season, a Tigers team that was very competitive in the MIAA. 2-0 pitch to Kreitzer is in there for strike 1.
That's the thing to know about him, is that he can make his presence known early. Just looking how he came into Fort Hays as a redshirt freshman, he made his presence known early on the batting side of.
That ball goes out of play, and the count is now 2-2 on Kreitzer. Bolin wheels and deals, and Kreitzer hits one foul down the third baseline. Count will stay at 2-2. So Kreitzer will give the 2-2 pitch another go. That one hit hard into left field. It'll drop in for a base hit. The Larks score 1. They score 2. Can they score 3? Yes, they can. A 3 RBI double for Brady Kreitzer. The Larks go up 8.
And the patience of Kreitzer there, just unpredictable what he was going to see there from a guy we noted has not played yet this season for the Cougars. Like what he saw, and brings home 3 more.
How about that? A 3 RBI double for Brady Kreitzer, and that just blew the floodgates wide open for the Larks, and now an 8-0 lead is going to be really difficult for the Cougars to pull themselves back into this ball game, and it looks like the day for Austin Bolin might be coming to a close as another mound meeting is ensuing, and it looks like they will do just that, and it may be a pitching change now for the Cougars, and looks like that is exactly what is going to happen. We welcome you back to Larks Park, and a pitching change indeed for the Cougars. They have Evan Peterson, the pitcher out of Indian Hills Community College out of Longmont, Colorado, a Colorado native. He's pitched 4 innings so far for the Cougars this season. He's allowed 7 hits on 6 runs. The right-handed pitcher will come in and relieve for Austin Bolin. That pitch hit straight to Trujillo, who will make the play at first base. And Sparks will ground out, and that will advance the runner to third. Kreitzer will be on third base, and 2 down now for the Larks. So that will bring up number 2, Trent Baker, the designated hitter for the Larks.
Getting a lot of encouragement from the Larks fans. He's a third-year player for this team and has really been a fan favorite.
That first pitch in there for ball 1. Now the 1-0 pitch. That one hit straight up the gut, and a diving attempt from Trujillo is not there. And that will score Kreitzer from third, so a 1 RBI single for Trent Baker. The Larks now lead 9-0 here in the bottom of the 5th, and the floodgates have just opened up for the Larks here in the bottom of the 5th inning here with 6 runs scored.
They're just continuing to find those gaps and making great contact with the bat and putting them in those zones.
So that'll bring up Dylan LaRue, the catcher for the Larks. That first pitch outside for ball 1. Runner goes with plenty of time. The throw was not attempted, and so Trent Baker slides into second base safely. Now a 2-0 count on Dylan LaRue. That pitch is called ball 3. And now LaRue certainly in control of this count. LaRue with 5 RBIs already on the season. He's hitting 143 so far. Now the 3-0 pitch to LaRue. Swung on and missed, and that will be for strike number 1. And Peterson so far has really struggled pitching to this Larks team. And maybe some signs of hope here for the Cougars. Now the 3-1 pitch. That one in there for ball number 4. That'll be a base on balls for Dylan LaRue. And we'll bring up Jackson Babcock, the first baseman.
And with that walk, that's now all 9. All 9 players in the Larks lineup have reached base tonight.
Certainly an impressive mark to hit for the Larks. A very productive night offensively for them. 9 runs on 9 hits. You can't really ask for anything better. Runner goes, and with no chance of reaching second base whatsoever, Dylan LaRue is thrown out at second, and that will conclude the bottom of the 5th. To the top of the 6th we go. Larks lead it 9-0. Well, it's the top of the 6th inning, and you know what that means. It's time to reveal our trivia question answer. Hank, take it away.
I wanted to challenge Larks fans tonight. The question again of the 16 games that the Larks played against RMBL teams from Colorado last season. How many did they win? Like I said, I wanted to challenge Larks fans tonight. And Tony Staley, I will tell you, I am impressed. You had the correct answer. The Larks won 14 of their 16 games last season against RMBL teams, or as you put it, all but 2.
There you go. So a great job from Tony Staley. I mean, that's an impressive one to have on the top of your head. And a pitching change for the Larks here after 7 forwards Ks for Dalton Campbell. 7 strikeouts on the day. Dalton Campbell's day comes to an end after 5 innings pitched, and now it'll be Jordan Stribling into the ball game for the Larks.
And for Campbell, that's 15 strikeouts on the year as a starter. He sets the tone for the entire game now and shut out the Cougars, only allowing 2 hits on the day.
Yeah, and that's a great day for Campbell. I mean, you've got to be happy with that if you're Coach Leo, and for that matter, if you're Campbell. I mean, that's a great outing for Campbell. And as you said, it really did set the tone. He only allowed 2 hits, and those 2 hits, neither one of those, resulted in runs. And for the Larks, that really kind of helped with their momentum. That kept the game rolling, and now 9-0 for the Larks going into the top of the 6th inning. So it'll be shortstop Finn O'Connor leading off the Cougars. That first pitch in there for ball number 1. Now the 1-0 pitch. Check swing, pitches outside for ball number 2.
We've already seen O'Connor reach base twice in tonight's game. Leading the Cougars in slugging percentage. Can be a dangerous hitter just in this situation right now. He's got a lot to work with.
That pitch also outside. Now a 3-0 count on O'Connor. Now the delivery. That pitch in there for strike 1. Now 3-1 count on O'Connor. That one finds the outside corner. Now a full count, and Stribling has worked his way back into this count. And the Larks faithful was loving that.
I think that's his host family that's applauding, if I'm not mistaken.
That pitch fouled the way down the first baseline. And Stribling will have another opportunity here at the payoff pitch. Stribling wheels and deals. That pitch is outside. And Finn O'Connor will get a base on balls to start off the top of the 6th inning. So now it's Will Brassel for the Cougars. The right fielder swung on and missed on that first pitch. Count will move to 0-1.
And he's a player on this Denver team with a lot of experience. He's played 2 seasons at the Division II level with Colorado Christian, 53 games played in those 2 seasons. But he's still looking to get on base for the first time tonight.
And 2 pitches swung on and missed to start off the at-bat for Brassel. And Stribling in command of this count with an 0-2 count. Now the pitch. That one hit into deep left field. Tracking back is Kreitzer. He is there at the warning track to make the play. 1 down and 1 on base for the Cougars in the top of the 6th. And that'll bring up the catcher, number 10, Zeke Minnick.
And Brassel's the only player for Denver to hit a home run this season, so a good job there by Kreitzer to track it down.
Certainly looked like it had a chance, but didn't quite have the depth. The height was certainly there. First pitch on Minnick is in there for strike one. Now the 0-1 pitch. That one couldn't quite find the outside corner. LaRue tried to frame it up and was not able to get the umpire's approval on that one. Now 1-1 count. And Stribling so far has had a pretty nice outing in this one inning that he's pitched. Been very in control. Another left-handed pitcher for the Larks. That pitch swung on and missed, and that one had some steam on it. A 1-2 count now for Zeke Minnick.
And Stribling was a player that was going to be unpredictable coming into this season after redshirting with the Sooners this last year. And was a top 200 recruit overall by Perfect Game.
Strike number 3, swung on and missed, was Zeke Minnick, and now 2 down here in the top of the 6th. And Jordan Stribling has the Larks rolling here in the top of the 6th inning. And that'll bring up Riley Hall, the first baseman for the Cougars. That first pitch a little bit too inside for the umpire's liking, and he'll start off the count 1-0. That pitch, a little bit of a dribbler. Stribling is there. He makes the tag, and that will conclude the top of the 6th inning. No runs on one hit, on one walk. And Stribling will go unscathed into the dugout. The Larks still lead it 9-0 going into the bottom of the 6th. Well, Peterson's day will come to a close on one hit on the day with no runs allowed. And up to pitch now for the Cougars will be number 7, Caden Davis, the freshman for Pacific University in Oregon. He redshirted this season at Pacific and only actually appeared in 2 games of his senior year at Thunder Ridge High School, a local school here in western Kansas.
It's actually in Colorado.
It's a different Thunder Ridge, really.
Yeah.
Huh.
I tried looking up on Max Preps, and it was the Thunder Ridge Longhorns that would keep popping up.
Interesting. Huh. I didn't know that another Thunder Ridge existed, but the more you know. Well, Davis will start his day 3-0 on the leadoff batter, Jackson Babcock, the first baseman. .30 pitch inside on Babcock, and Babcock will take a base on balls to start off the bottom of the 6th inning.
He's now been walked twice in tonight's game. Being the Larks' top hitter and facing such young pitchers for the Cougars, they're just trying to get him all over the place, and they just can't.
Well, you're absolutely right, and Babcock's kind of a scary batter to face. He's averaging .545 on the season. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, he's hitting more than he's not when he gets up to the plate. So, as a pitcher, that's very intimidating, as I can imagine. No one count here for Tabor Stokes, the shortstop for the Larks. That pitch high for ball 1. Larks still lead it 9-0 here in the bottom of the 6th. No outs and a runner on first. Now the 1-1 pitch from Davis. That one popped up to the first baseman, Hall, who is there to make the play. And that'll be 1 down to start the bottom of the 6th for the Cougars. And I can recognize that walk-up music just about anywhere, and that is Lorenzo Rios, the third baseman for the Larks. And he will get hit. He will take a walk. And now runners on first and second with 1 out for the new pitcher, Caden Davis.
Kind of feels like Rios has had a target on him this season. That's now 5 times this year he's been hit.
Yeah, I mean, that's rough. There's no other way to I mean, 5 hit by pitches in a single season. I mean, some of those guys just seems like they have almost like a magnet that just pulls the ball to them in a way. Or I don't know, maybe it's his stance, or maybe he crowds the plate a little bit, and that's hard for a pitcher. So now Paul Smith, the right fielder and backup catcher for the Larks, will come up to the plate. As Hank mentioned earlier, he was recently signed on by the Larks. Just this week, he was a catcher for Rice University, played alongside Dylan LaRue, and that is the second hit batter for Caden Davis. And that will send Paul Smith to first base, and now bases loaded with only 1 out, and C.J. Reed is up to the plate. So, catcher for the Cougars, that is Minnick, will have a bit of a mound meeting out there with Caden Davis, try to comfort the young pitcher from Colorado.
And they got to be careful right here because Larks score 1 run and then hold them. We got another run rule.
Yeah, and for the Larks, they've really produced very effectively and efficiently on offense in today's game. And Reed will hit that to the shortstop, and Reed legs it out to first base. He'll have an RBI fielder's choice. And now 2 down for the Larks. Will bring up the bottom of the line. That is Brady Kreitzer, the left fielder, who had a 3 RBI double in the last inning. A Fort Hays State Tiger himself. Just recently finished his senior season with the Tigers. Signed on with the Tigers temporarily until they get to full strength. He's played many a game here at Larks Park, the home of both the Hayes Larks and the Fort Hays State Tigers. Runner goes from first. That ball goes foul, out of play down the first baseline. And Kreitzer so far for the Larks has had a good showing, at least at the plate. He had a home run and a couple knocks in his first game with the Larks against the Kansas Cannons. That pitch outside for ball 2. Now a 2-1 count for Kreitzer. Now the pitch. That one also outside, right at about the same spot. And the count will move to 3-1. Now the pitch. That will hit Kreitzer. And now the third hit batter by Caden Davis, who is body language is looking quite frustrated here in the bottom of the 6th inning with the bases loaded now. The top of the lineup, Lane Sparks, the center fielder, will come up to the plate for the Larks. Sparks averaging .375 so far on the season. That first pitch is high for ball 1. That ball popped way up in the air. Minnick goes to track it down, sliding in and almost hit him in the face. Oh my goodness. Minnick seems to be okay, but that was a very, very dangerously close fly ball that by a miracle just missed him. And the count will move to 1-1 for Lane Sparks.
And while he didn't make that catch, you got to give him a round of applause for the effort there.
Without a doubt, I mean, the sliding play there, that's not an easy play to make, especially in all that catcher's gear. That one hit straight into right field. It's a base hit for Sparks. 1 will score for the Larks. 2 will score for the Larks. A 2 RBI single for Lane Sparks. That is RBI number 3 on the year for Sparks. Hitting in the 1-hole slot for the Larks. And now the Larks will go up 12-0 on the Cougars, with the designated hitter Trent Baker up to the plate now.
And with Dylan LaRue on deck, the Larks might potentially go through their entire lineup once again.
And deep into left field, that ball's out of here. A home run for Trent Baker. Put down 3 more in the scoring column. The Larks lead it 15-0. See ya later, Trent Baker. That'll bring up Dylan LaRue now for the Larks, the catcher, and if he can get on base, they will have gone through their entire lineup here in this inning. That ball hit deep and high into right field. Tracking it down is Brassel, and the ball will go off the top of the fence and go out of play. Now the pitch. That pitch in there for strike number 2. A 1-2 count. Reed chops that one to the third baseman and Jackson. Jackson's throw is offline, and Dylan LaRue will reach first base on an error. And so right back to the top of the order, at least for this inning. Jackson Babcock, who led off the inning. Now the Larks have made it all the way around their line, scoring 6 runs here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
And for Babcock and LaRue, this is now their 3rd time at the plate in the last 2 innings.
Now a 2-0 count here to start the at-bat for Babcock. Davis wheels and deals, and that one is low and away for ball 3. Now a 3-0 count. That ball is outside. Babcock will take his base, and a base on balls for Jackson Babcock. The second walk now for Jackson Babcock this inning. That'll bring up shortstop Tabor Stokes. Stokes hitting .391 on the season so far with 5 RBIs. The first pitch on Stokes in there for ball 1. Now the 1-0 pitch. That pitch low and inside on Stokes. Now 2 balls and still no strikes. That is ball number 3 for Stokes. With runners on first and second and 2 outs. Now the 3-0 pitch is behind Stokes. I don't think that actually hit him. I don't know if that was officially a hit by pitch or not. If it was, that is the 4th batter that Caden Davis has hit tonight. Regardless, the bases are loaded now with Lorenzo Rios, the 3rd baseman, up to the plate for the Larks. As the second time this inning with the bases loaded. That first pitch a little bit low and inside on Rios. That one absolutely smoked to right field. And with no chance of that one staying in the ballpark, it'll go out of play. I completely lost the ball in the sky after it came off the bat, and it must have gone out of play. It looked to me like that one was no doubter, but evidently that one went foul. So now a 1-1 count on Rios.
That's where the impact of smaller foul poles comes in.
You are absolutely right, and like I said, the ball went over the stadium lights, and from there I had no idea where the ball went. Now 2-1 count on Rios. That one is a pop fly into shallow center, and a sliding play from Lopez will conclude the bottom of the 6th. 6 runs in the bottom of the 6th. The Larks lead at 15-0. Well, we welcome you back to Larks Park. I'm going to throw it over to Hank here for the final few innings. Potentially might be the last inning here, depending on what the Cougars are able to do here in the top of the 7th.
Thank you, Eli. And to be honest, I feel like I should let you stay on the mic. They scored 12 of their 15 runs when you were doing the play-by-play.
I don't know. Part of that I think may have had to do with the pitching change, but I guess I'll take a little bit of credit for it.
I'm just kidding. I like my job. But Jordan Stribling will be back to the mound. Count starting off 2-0 against the third baseman Ethan Jackson. Remind you to stick around for our post-game interview tonight. We're going to do it with Tabor Stokes. There was a request from a fan. We will do that. I'm actually just finding out by that comment that he is taking his talents to the Division I level with Ball State. This one popped up in the infield. Stribling runs up on it. There is out number 1.
Well, it almost looks like maybe the ball hit the ground first and then popped up or something, or maybe it came off. I don't exactly know what the call is there, but the first base umpire called the play dead.
So therefore the count will be 2-2. This one gets away. The count is now full. Also, fans along with Tabor Stokes, we will interview Brady Kreitzer. So if the Larks get 3 outs here, unless the Cougars score 6 runs, we should have another run rule victory. And a punch out there for Jordan Stribling against Ethan Jackson. So that will take us to the second baseman, Caden Trujillo. This bottom part of the order for the Cougars has only gone through the lineup 3 times. For the Larks, their bottom part of the lineup went through 4 times and in some spots 5. And throw down to first, and it's not in time. That he will reach safely, as they'll call that an infield hit for Caden Trujillo.
Yeah, Trujillo really had a nice display of speed there, really hauled his way down to first base, and that extra effort got him on base, and credit to him for that. Something I'll note is the pitching tonight for the Larks has been phenomenal. I mean, talk about Dalton Campbell starting off the game with 7 strikeouts And then now Stribling with 2 strikeouts in the short amount of time that he's pitched in this game. The pitching staff from the Larks has really been phenomenal.
Curving back in, it catches the outside part of the zone. The count is now 1-2. This one just misses. That'll be called ball 2 to Braden Gillum. He'll take a hard swing on this one, and this will drop fair as Smith runs after it. And the runner from third is going to try to go home, and then he stops and makes his way back.
That throw from right field did a really funky bounce off the transition between the infield turf and the grass, and it just like it jumped over that lip. And the Cougars are doing all they can to try and extend this game. With 2 runners on, this ball game's not completely over yet.
They're back to the top of their order. This one finds the zone, starting the count off 0-1 against Christian Lopez. Entered as the top hitter for the Cougars, but has only reached base once, and that was an error on the first play of the game where it was just, we kind of saw from that start the Cougars position the balls in weird ways, and it was tough plays for the Larks to make.
It really was, and it was that first inning, really, and it was like two of those hits. One of them actually resulted in an error, but one of those hits was really just a kind of a fluke play that just dropped in such a weird spot, and it was so hard for them to make the play, and what can you do at that point?
After the foul ball, Lopez trying to fight back. Stribling kicks and deals. Swing and a miss, and there is another punch out, and the Larks are 1 out away from another run rule victory.
That is punch out number 3 tonight for Jordan Stribling. A really nice outing for him in the 2 innings that he has pitched.
That'll bring up the designated hitter for the Cougars, who's already been a strikeout victim twice, swinging in his 2 previous appearances in the 3rd and 5th inning. Half-hearted swing. He'll go around, and that's strike 1 to Quintanilla. LaRue showing that he wants it low and outside. This one will go high, and that's ball 1. Swing and a miss. There is strike number 2. And just one more pitch will give the Larks the win.
Stribling trying to end the outing with 4 strikeouts on the night, and quite a nice showing from him so far.
Pitch on the way. Finds the zone, and there is another run rule victory at Larks Park and win number 5 on the year.
Well, what an outing it was today for all parties involved for the Larks. I mean, it was a masterclass for them. And it has really been just a team effort. It really has. And from the pitching staff, Campbell's performance of 7 strikeouts on the day, and Stribling's performance of 4 strikeouts on the day, and then 15 runs on 11 hits for the Larks. I mean, what more can you ask for? That was just a well-rounded performance for the Larks, to say the least. And it'll be a on-field interview for Hank, and he will get an opportunity to interview a players, including Tabor Stokes, along with Sir. So we'll send it down to Hank for the post-game interview, as he will get to interview Tabor Stokes along with Brady Kreitzer. That was the automotive Cosair. A good shout out to him for doing that interview with both Tabor Stokes and Brady Kreitzer. I would imagine here in just a moment we'll have Hank rejoin us up here in the booth, and we will sign off for you folks back home once Hank gets his final thoughts in, as he is working his way back up to the press box. As a whole, just a well-rounded effort for the Larks in today's game, and what more can you ask for? You got 2 more games against the Cougars before they end their series, but a Game 1 series win for the Larks against the Cougars team, and a run rule win at that, a 15-0 win, and Hank is just rejoined us up here in the booth. We'll go to break here in just a moment, and then we'll have our post-game show. So stay tuned for that. We'll be back here in just a moment.
5 wins for the Larks now in their 2025 campaign, and they've gone in a pattern: run rule win, tie, another run rule win. And it's a huge showing, great showing by the bats, scoring 12 runs in 2 innings, which led to the run rule, and a strong showing once again by the pitching. Dalton Campbell getting the start, getting 7 strikeouts in 5 innings, and Jordan Stribling coming up and finishing the night off.
It really was quite a showing, and what set the tone was the pitching. It started with Dalton Campbell, who had 7 punch-outs on the day, and from there it kind of just snowballed for the Larks. The Larks kept things rolling. The bats were moving. The pitching was going well. I mean, everything went well that could have gone well for the Larks today.
And the Cougars tonight, they went through 4 pitchers in tonight's game. You got to wonder if that's going to impact them for the rest of this series, especially with the struggles with Evan Peterson and Caden Davis late in the game.
Well, and we mentioned during this game about how deep some of these bullpens are, especially in this league. It's hard for some of these teams to pick up a lot of players to have a lot of depth, and so a lot of these pitchers you'll see multiple nights in a row at times. And for the Cougars, that can be a bit of a concern and maybe a little bit of a weak spot, at least on their roster.
And while we're still early in the season, the Larks are now in command in the RMBL standings. This improves them to 3-1 on the year. Really making a statement and getting a big win like this is going to go a long way down the road, especially because tonight was the first of 7 straight home games, including the first 2 games of this series being part of RMBL play before playing a non-league game on Sunday.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the Larks wanted. They wanted something to really start off their league play. They wanted a statement piece, and this is exactly what that is, a statement piece. They're back and better than ever, and they're ready. They're ready to go.
All right, we'll be back at it tomorrow night. It's once again a 7 o'clock first pitch as the Larks will face the Cougars once again. And for June 14th, that will be Military Appreciation Night, so we encourage everybody to come out to Larks Park. But again, the Larks win it tonight by a final score of 15-0 and improving to 5-1-1 on the year and 3-1 in RMBL play. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to tonight's game. I'm Hank Corsair, and alongside me tonight was Eli Blankenship. Have a good night.